Well, personally, what got me started was I bought my first piece of property, which was a condominium in Redwood City back in 1978. I paid $65,000 for it. And I was there for less than a year, and I made $20,000 in equity that built up in that amount of time. So I sold that and then bought my first single-family residence house. And over the course of the last 30 years, I've done that process probably 5 different times and ended up here in Saratoga where I am now.
Well, I was young. I was about 8 years old. My dad was in San Francisco, and he was an automobile painter in the 1960s, and he spoke very little English. But he was making very good money at that time. So he had a lot of extra money, and he would take me to look at properties to potentially buy. And when it came time to actually signing the documents, it's called escrow, because he didn't know the language very well, he would have me help him translate the documents from English to Spanish so that he knows what he's signing. So I kind of learned by that experience what the various pieces of buying a piece of property are all about. So that's what first got me started in real estate. My dad, he was smart enough to invest in real estate in San Francisco at the time.
First of all, I would say get into the real estate market as quickly as you can with any type of property. In my case, it was a condominium, and that's actually very common nowadays for people to start off with a condominium. So even if it's just a little 1-bedroom, 1-bath condominium, you know, as far as square footage goes, it probably is going to be small, but get in. Because the advantages to real estate are not just 1 or 2 advantages, there's many advantages. In addition to that, real estate appreciates in value, so the money that you put down is building, and in, I'll say 5 years' time, you know, you'll have a pretty good little nest egg where you can move up if you want to. I only put 5% down. So it was just a couple of $1,000s that I needed to get into the market. It's possible to get in with little or even no down nowadays, but unless you have the income that's going to allow you to make the payments, it's probably not a good idea to do that, because you don't want to get your house repossessed 6 months after you move into it. That's not a good thing. Every time that I've pulled my equity out of my house, I've always moved up to a bigger house in a nicer neighborhood, and that's how I've chosen to, you know, to invest, and it's worked out well for me. But there are lots of other ways to invest also. So. Yeah.
When I graduated from college, I knew pretty well what real estate was all about. So I worked my way through college, part-time jobs, like most kids do. And I saved enough for a down payment, and I bought my first, condominium, which I still own.
Building your credit is really, really important, and getting a credit card is part of that. So getting a credit card is not a bad thing. It's a good thing to get a credit card, because you're going to establish your credit as long as you pay your bills on time, and as long as you only purchase things with the credit card that you can actually afford. But one of the factors that goes into determining what interest rate you're going to get is your credit score. And everybody has a credit score. Some of them are good and some of them are not so good. But if you have a better credit score, you're going to qualify for a larger loan at a better interest rate, and that's going to bring your monthly payments down, having a lower interest rate. So if you build up your credit well, if you do a good job of it, you know, that will definitely help that. And so if you get a credit card, that's fine. just make sure that you pay off the bill every month, you know, that you're never late on the payments and all that, and don't go out and buy things that you can't actually afford. So, but building credit's important.
Is it hard? No, it's not hard. It just takes money to play. What's hard about it is finding the property that suits your objectives. What I mean is that you get into real estate for one of two reasons. Aside from your own house that you have to live in, if you want to buy another house, it's because of one of two things. Either A, you want to buy it for appreciation. By that I mean it's valued today is X, tomorrow it's going to be X plus 10%, that's appreciation. Or B, you buy it for the cash flows. So you know, you get the rent income every month, then you have to pay your mortgage and your property taxes and every now and then maintenance. So after you make all those payments, do you still have money left over? That's called positive cash flow.
Honestly say that real estate is without a doubt the best investment I've ever made. So as far as my personal residence, that's what got me started.